Rocksteady is in a state of disaster currently. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was a massive bomb for Warner Brothers games, and now there is a little bit of a rumor circulating that following the Suicide Squad game failure, Warner Brothers may shut down Rocksteady or at least have their staff numbers. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or through YouTube memberships. Now, shout out to Cosmic Book News and, of course, That Park Place for covering this, but I am actually the one who had posted this, so I'm going to be referring to my tweet. I had posted, while I do not usually speak on insider information I receive, I think this is one we have all pieced together ourselves. Warner Brothers is internally talking about closing Rocksteady or having their 250 employees after Kill the Justice League's bomb. So I always say this with rumors, take it with a grain of salt until something actually happens. Come to your own conclusion, but we have seen over the past half a year a clear path to failure for Rocksteady. I absolutely love the Arkhamverse. It's one of my favorite quadrilogies of all time. I've played the games multiple times, absolutely love them. Fantastic series, but the Rocksteady that exists today is not the Rocksteady that had previously existed. They have created absolute trash now, and it doesn't really look like Warner Brothers has that much faith in them. Of course, back in 2016, we got the Batman Arkham VR game that was developed by Rocksteady, and now there is a new Batman Arkham Shadows VR game that's coming out being done by Camouflage, so even the next Arkhamverse game is not being done by Rocksteady. It seems like Warner Brothers Games gave them a bunch of money for KTJL, and they told them, hey, listen, you have to create something good here. Now, of course, this was greenlit a couple of years ago when live service games were really gaining a lot of traction, and this was supposed to be their big live service game. It was supposed to be around for a long time, but we also now know, according to rumors, that they are going to be ending live service support come early 2025, right around the 1 year anniversary. Once these DLC characters are out, they are going to drop this game like a rock, which of course this was a rumor months ago, even closer to when the game actually released. So it really seems like they have not had any confidence in this and the team that's there now. Of course, Rocksteady has about 250 employees that are working there right now. I personally believe that they are going to slash their employee numbers, which of course is on par for what's happening in the industry right now. We are seeing tons of layoffs. I think half of those people are going to go. I don't think that they are going to completely shut them down, maybe move developers to other projects, and Rocksteady will still be a very small entity. But I do not think at this point, given what I understand the situation to be, I do not think that they are going to ever release another AAA game the size of KTJL. There's not that confidence there anymore. And of course, just last month, David Zaslav had publicly announced this game lost them over $200 million year over year, because last year we got Hogwarts Legacy, which was a massive financial success, and we are not seeing something like that with KTJL. Now, of course, I have heavily covered this game since release because of what it represented for Warner Brothers games and also a beloved franchise. I absolutely love the Arkham games. I wanted this game to be a success, even though leading up to release I was not impressed with the content I saw. But it is one of the worst games that I personally have played, and with the state of the industry, failure is not being tolerated. Look at something like Embracer and Volition, for example. Embracer was looking to find ways to cut costs, and they cut Volition off, closed down a studio with 30 years under their belt because of one financial failure. And we have seen Warner Brothers do the same exact thing just with movies. Look at the Batgirl movie. That was shelved and it was 75% done. The director had said, we had a nearly completed cut. It just needed a little bit more polishing in terms of CGI, and it would have been at least okay to release, but they didn't. They shelved it, they scrapped it, and it was almost completed because they knew it was going to be a failure, and they are not tolerating failures at this point, and it doesn't seem like the future is very bright for Rocksteady. I wish they would go back to their roots and actually start creating something good again. I wish that we could forget about Kill the Justice League and we could be getting new good content from them, but I personally don't think they need to continue the Arkhamverse. Yes, I get it. They wanted to make money and they were hoping a live service game was going to bring in lots of players, and it clearly hasn't. But the Nightfall Protocol ending of Arkham Knight was amazing, even though that game had a lot of problems and it definitely was not good as some of the other Arkhamverse games. It still was a fantastic ending to their story, all of the characters combined, and I just didn't think that they should have continued it, but I was at least trying to be open-minded with KTJL, and then we ended up getting this cringy game with all of these characters who really didn't have a lot of synergy. You, of course, had the complete and utter disrespect for the characters and their legacy. I get it's called Kill the Justice League, but you could have at least given them decent endings. You had Captain Boomerang pissing on the Flash, Harley's really cringy speech right before she, spoiler alert, kills Batman. It just did not come together to be a decent story. The visuals were really messy. Of course, the gameplay was mediocre. It just was not a good experience overall, and virtually nobody is playing it now. Of course, we don't know the console numbers, and they could be higher. I assume they're going to be pretty similar, but we do have the Steam information, and there's only 228 players at this point in time in the game, and the all-time peak is a measly 13,459 users. So these are not numbers that are, indicative of some massive success, and I get that people play a game when it's new, they end up moving on, that's the way of life, but this number is primarily what I want to reference, and we only have one DLC character out at this point. They have 5 to 6 already planned. So if you can't even muster up a few hundred people playing at all times, why even continue to develop this game? And why would Warner Brothers have any level of confidence in them to create another game or to continue Suicide Squad? There's no reason to if there's no people playing. And of course, since I put up this tweet and these articles have gone up, there have been a lot of people memeing on Rocksteady and also just saying they're not very surprised. Which, yeah, I didn't expect people to be very surprised by this news, but it is a bit disappointing to see this studio who has made such good games in the past fall so hard so fast. Cabruta said, "Oh, I'm surprised. If Rocksteady does get shut down, that's studio number 4 that Sweet Baby Inc. has effectively killed, and this is also a very good point. If they hadn't have included Sweet Baby Inc. in the development process, I think that it would have sold better because there is a Sweet Baby Inc. boycott going on right now. And plus, we might not have these absolutely horrendous character models like Mrs. Freeze, who's an upcoming DLC, and the Joker that they just released, Harley's design. Look at Harley now versus what Harley used to look like. She used to be an absolute beautiful bombshell, and now she just looks like an angry SJW. They shouldn't have hired SBI, and I do hope that this is a wake-up call for a lot of studios. Now, I don't think that's going to happen because there are so many activists that are at these studios, but at the same time, we are seeing Sweet Baby Inc. fail after fail, and yes, this would be studio number 4 that SBI has effectively killed if this ends up being the case. We're seeing a great replacement in gaming, prominent studios and passionate devs getting phased out with SBI greed, while newer ESG-compliant studios replace fun with propaganda. This is definitely happening, and it is sad. I would love for Rocksteady to go back to their roots and make an amazing Arkham game, or make something that is akin. Maybe we could get a Catwoman game. Imagine if they made a Catwoman game that is very similar to the DLC that she had in the Arkhamverse, and they gave her, that character design. Oh my god, it would be a top seller. It would be all anyone could talk about. It would be absolutely amazing if it felt like those older Rocksteady titles that made us fall in love with them as a development studio. There are so many good things that they could do. Unfortunately, though, they'd actually have to listen to gamers, and we know that is not happening in the industry right now. So if there's any other information that I can release, I will be posting it on Twitter/X or making a follow-up video, so make sure to subscribe and follow me over there. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.